I'm back to do my second live this week. I'm gonna stick to my goal to do 2 lives a week at a minimum, so I can come on here and connect with you all, conversate with you all, answer questions for you all, hopefully inspire you all, or share information that's of some value with you. I was just a little bit ago earlier this morning. I was doing a podcast recording with Mary Fran of the Brilliantly Resilient podcast, and she's awesome. If you haven't checked out her podcast, I highly recommend it. We had a really good conversation, and you'll have to hold tight for it to come out because it won't come out until August, but it was such a delight to talk with her. And after speaking with her, I felt even more inspired and even more energized around my mission, as I typically do when I get to talk with it about like-hearted folks that want to help people feel better, but also they themselves want to be able to feel better and do better and all of that. So here I am on here, feeling energized, feeling inspired myself, and excited to talk with you all today. So if you come on, if you catch the live, please say hi. And if you catch the replay, say hi anyway. I would still love to hear from you, and I will respond once I am able, so that we can keep the conversation going. But I want to talk today about how women tend to feel the need to contort themselves in so many different ways to fulfill so many different roles all at once, and also at the same time feel like they're being fragmented, like they're fragmenting parts of themselves because of how much they're contorting themselves. And if you have had that experience, you know what I mean. We can only, as women, we can only pull ourselves in so many directions and fragment ourselves off to perform within various roles for but so long until we begin to feel disconnected from ourselves or from those around us, or often both, or begin to breed resentment, which is like this snaky, venomous weed that finds itself getting into our relationships in ways that often cause hurt, cause harm, cause pain, or chronic exhaustion sets in, which, as many of us know, lends to burnout or overwhelm or this uncharacteristic irritation and anger that makes us feel righteous in the irritation and anger, and then also guilty about it all at the same time. You know what I'm talking about, right? And so between the mental load of motherhood and the double standards that can often come within the workforce, the professional world, the modern day working mom can so often feel like she's forced to carry so much all at once, all on her own, and then also to do it silently, to do it quietly, to do it without complaining. And that's a lot. That is a lot. Because here's the truth. We are strong. We're incredibly strong. Women can do miraculous work in this world with our bodies, with our hands, with our minds, with our hearts. We're capable. We're gifted. We're needed. We can do a lot. We can hold a lot. We have so much to share with the world. And especially for those of us who tend to overachieve, overgive, overthink, overwork, many of us learned at some point along the way that we have to constantly prove that these statements are true. These statements that I just shared, that we're capable, that we're gifted, that we're needed, that we can do a lot. We feel like we need to prove it again and again and again and again and again. And part of the challenge with that is that we feel like we need to prove it by sacrificing ourselves, by sacrificing our own mental health or our own wants or our own needs, sometimes even our own values, for the sake of proving that we can be successful or we are successful, or to look or be successful in the eyes of others. which oftentimes it just detracts from our own sense of internal fulfilling success, which is what we ultimately actually want to feel. And it's backwards. It's twisted. It doesn't work. The issue with this, beyond the obvious, is that version of success that so many high-performing women, high-achieving women, women that are juggling a lot, that we tend to strive for or work for or not even realize that we're moving towards and operating out of, is that it doesn't leave us feeling deeply, truly, internally fulfilled. It doesn't feed our souls. It feeds the need to constantly go and do and give and push and strive. And so more often than not, it leaves a void or like a yearning, a craving for more. And then for some of us, it's like, well, how could we want more? How could we ask for more? We already have so much and we should be grateful for this. And it creates this internal tug of war that just builds tension within us, within our bodies, within our minds, and then within our relationships. And it shows up whether we want to admit it or not. No matter how hard we try to deny it or ignore it or minimize it, it does show up. It just does. I've had it happen, right? Unfortunately, I've experienced my own version of this all too common cycle that, you know, us high achieving, hardworking, well-intentioned, big-hearted, strong women get stuck in and sucked into. And what I can share with you from both a personal and a professional standpoint is this type of cycle, it does wear women down. And it's not because we're not strong. We get worn down because it's actually disconnecting us from our selves, our souls, our passions, our purpose. And the further worn down we get, the more effort it takes to recover, which makes sense, right? The further away we get from, let's call it balance or homeostasis or integration, whatever word you want to use. The further away we move from that, the less and less we're in that space, the more effort, the harder it is, the more it takes for us to return, right? To move closer to that space, to that way of living and being and thinking and doing. That's why the reset, which if you haven't heard so far, I've been sharing about it, the reset experience that I have coming up for women like you and I, those of us who have that big heart, we have that big mission, like we care about doing well. And we want to feel good and we want to do good, right? We don't want to have to sacrifice who or what matters most. The reset experience is intended for the many of us women that are living across this unfulfilled spectrum, this spectrum of lack of fulfillment all the way up to fulfillment, right? Many of us are somewhere along that spectrum. And unfortunately, too many of us are closer to that second half of the spectrum where it's unfulfilled. Maybe it's more intensely or less intensely that sense of unfulfillment. But we're leaning more towards that area instead of more towards the upper end of the spectrum where there's fulfillment more often than not, where we feel that internally. And so some of you feel pretty good about where you're at and what you've accomplished, and you simply desire more. And so maybe you're somewhere closer to that midpoint where it's like, sometimes I feel fulfilled and sometimes I don't, but more often than not, maybe I do, and I want to feel more of that. And then some can sense that you're at a crossroads, right? Some of you can sense, I'm at a crossroads. I have some decisions to make. I'm not clear on the next steps, but what I can see is that I am teetering more towards this unfulfilled more often, and I want to move more towards this sense of fulfillment more often before too much negativity soaks in and makes it harder, moving me in that direction of less fulfillment rather than more fulfillment. And then there's others of you that feel stuck. Like you're in this place over here, it doesn't feel super fulfilled, feels less and less fulfilling, and you're kind of just stuck in that spot. But it feels like there's no choice, right? That trapped feeling. It feels like there's no choice to be had but to stay there. However, you don't want to stay there, right? You definitely don't want to stay stuck any longer. And then there are those who are in burnout, all the way at the end, right, of that fulfillment spectrum, where they're feeling unfulfilled and disconnected, and recovery is needed for meaningful forward movement to happen in any sort of aligned fashion. We are all connected, but we are not all the same, and we are not all at the same place on that spectrum in any given period of time. And so the reset experience is designed for us to together acknowledge where we're at individually, while also supporting one another collectively within this. I'm going to use the word container, but that's not the best word to use, but within this space, okay, where we can have this one of a kind experience where coming together is a good thing and a supportive thing, and allows us to more deeply honor ourselves, our individual selves, where you can then reset and up level purposefully, meaningfully, not alone. If any of this is intriguing you, pulling you in, resonating with you, I am working on a free masterclass coming up, and I'll share more about those details as we move closer to its release date. But if you're intrigued by that, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm interested in this reset cohort, but I'm not sure, I'm on the fence, the reset masterclass is for you. It's free. And I'll share that link when it's available. But you can also just join my newsletter, and then you'll get my emails, which will give you updates as that's available too. But I'll leave the link in comments for that. Until then, I'm going to invite everyone to just shed some light on the powerful women that you have in your life, that you have seen, that inspire you, whether you know them directly or not. Because I think if we can do that, at least that, start here, start right there, right here, right now, we can do a little bit more of that on purpose with one another, then we're able to at least show that we see that in each other. We see, yes, you are strong. Yes, you are capable. And also, you don't have to live chronically proving it. You don't have to live in the space of feeling less fulfilled than you desire. You can move towards the space of feeling more fulfilled. You deserve that, and you can have it. You can move in that direction. So I think we can support each other and uplift each other, even just with that small act of noticing each other, acknowledging each other in that way. Too often we can see each other as either competition or we're comparing. And so, I'm looking at someone else and I'm comparing what I see about them or what they're showing on social media. And so now I call it compare and despair. You might have heard of that before, right? That's not a helpful or healthy space for us to live in. It's not a helpful or healthy space for us to have interactions with other women in. And so we need to shift that, right? We can do that. We can start right now to do that. So I've got some other exciting things going on that are coming up, some additions to the reset experiences that I offer. One is the free masterclass that's coming up that I just mentioned. But the second one is that if you're not currently a parenting woman, so you're not a mom, or you are a mom, but your kids are adults now, and so you don't really fully identify with the parenting piece as strongly, I want you to know I've built a wait list for you who are like, I want this reset. Like, I want this reset experience. Everything you're saying is hitting home. I'm feeling it. And also, I'm just not momming right now. That's not the stage of life that I'm in, or it's not an identity or role that I identify with. We've got a wait list growing for you so that we can create a specific reset course for you. So all you have to do is sign up for the wait list. Again, it's free, and I'll leave the link below. So that you can get updates as we move towards that direction too. And then if anyone is like, I love your work, I love what you're saying, I love what you're sharing, but it's not me. It doesn't resonate with me, or it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm going through right now. But I want to support your mission. Then I'm working on a way for you to be able to donate to the reset experience and to the mission, the work that I'm doing, so that those who are struggling with financial hardship are still able to participate. And I'm going to be sharing that as I can clarify some of the back end details I need to clarify around that. So if you're interested in that, you could go ahead and join the wait list. Not the wait list. You can go ahead and join the newsletter, because I'll be sharing updates on my newsletter around that too. And if you follow me here, I'll do my best to share it on here as well. So thanks for hanging with me again today, you all. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. Until then, I hope you have an amazing day. And if you need a micro reset right now, I hope you can find a way for you to feel that micro reset, to move you towards that place of feeling more fulfilled with the life that you're living, the life that you're leading, and the life that you are loving in right now.